Hey, Charles Parnell, how you doing?
I'm good, Michael. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. Let's get straight into it. Grand Crew, what is the one thing you love about this show?
Oh, well, I love many things about it. I love that obviously it's black and it represents us in a very full way, but it also just kind of well, one of the main things that's one of the main benefits of a show being so black is not just for blackness sake, but it's the characters get to live as opposed to explain. Right.
Nice. I
So they
love that.
just kind of get to observe them as opposed to having to try to understand what you're saying. You just kind of enjoy what you're saying and you can think about it later. And it all ends up being human behavior and human relationships and human love and loss and hopefully a lot of human humor because I think the show is very funny. So, yeah.
Yes, definitely. Your character, what do you love about this dad who is, your character it has layers to him, small business owner, struggling a little bit, widower, two kids, one kid wants him to move on, the other kid doesn't want him to move on. I
Exactly.
love
Yeah.
the juxtaposition.
It's fun because, especially in this imaginary world, because they are doing most of the worrying. You know, I'm not. I'm living my life, and they're around me wondering what's going on. So Franklin is actually having fun, kind of exploring new things. Because I feel like if you'd met Franklin right before the series started, he was in this kind of settled, kind of
Mhm.
solidified place, and now as you're meeting him his life is starting to change up. He's thinking about selling the business and retiring and dating new ladies, as we will find out Friday, and getting out there. So the fun thing about him is trying to present this history of this character that was one way, and you kind of see him growing and flowering. Even in his 50s, he's growing and flowering a little bit.
No, definitely. How do you feel about the importance of seeing this type of the positive black father, where they're coming from a whole home, you know what I mean? And it's just like this narrative where it's like, I think it's so important that we have this on television, right? Where you see him being a business owner, his not saying that everyone has to go that route, but that there's this type of like nuance that, hey, it could be normal for our community too.
Yeah, I think the great thing about that is actually getting past it. So we've established that they come from a full, like you put so well, a full whole household. So now we can worry about or deal with the issues that they deal with, as opposed to that's what I mean about explaining. Like you don't have to explain that, you don't have to explain their upbringing. You can just see them, and of course, your upbringing presents itself in any kind of situations you're in when you're in a love relationship, all of your insecurities and whatever comes out. But then that's what it is. We're dealing with the present and now and not trying to go back and deal with history, I guess is the best way. Like they can live in the present,
Yeah.
you know. That's one of the
No.
great things about this show. Is just it is.
I like that. And I seen a screener of this episode coming up this week. So I'll be able to talk about this since we'll be showing this later on.
Yeah.
What does it mean? It's crazy because it's great that they're showing kind of like this love, this sex for, more mature individuals and
Absolutely.
and being bold with it. You know what I mean? At the end, he's like, he did one of the things that we think about like somebody in their 20s. It was just the sex.
Hey, he's human. But that's what I mean. You imagine this life he had before, and hopefully we're presenting it in a way that you can see. Oh, he's breaking out of his shell a little bit, or you know what I mean. He wants a little bit of a change, which is always exciting to see. Usually, you have to kind of grow with a character, then they establish how they are, and then they change. And then the audiences can react with them and kind of grow with them. But with this character, you kind of have to bring in what he was and then just understand that wow, this is a different time, it's different.
Yeah.
And it's also mainly for them, like all the 20s and 30s kids out there who like are dealing with their parents, having to think about things about their parents they don't want to deal with. It's like, I think I won't be coming home tonight. What you mean you won't be coming home tonight? Daddy got a life too.
Yeah, definitely. And it's funny too, because you have this type of thing where it's like at the end, the kids are like, wait, this is our dad, but he's also just a man with his own needs. And I think that's where the human part comes on. You take off all the layers, black man, dad, widower, and you're just like, this is just a human who has needs that he wants to satisfy. and that's it. No, there's no in between. There's no gray areas, black or white.
Exactly. And that's what, going back to your question in the beginning, that's the beauty of this, is that it can just be about this. It's not black people dealing with this, or, you know, it's just people, because once you've established all those things and we know who they are and that their life is as normal as anybody else's, or whatever somebody considers normal, then you can just deal with their abnormal, how abnormal they are, like everybody else is, you know, who had a normal upbringing. But that's the fun of the show, is that they really embrace what's usually uncomfortable. The show goes right for it. So hopefully that comes out to be funny, you know, because I have a lot of fun with them.
Perfect. Got a couple minutes left. When it comes to the ensemble, for Charles as a person, who do you relate to most from the cast, the character cast?
Well, because I spend the most time with them, I feel like I'm a split between Echo and Nicole, because Echo is kind of a thinker. He's content. He doesn't come out of his face very much. You know, he's got a lot of energy, but he's composed. Nicole is just energy personified. She's funny. She makes everything funny. She can make anything funny. And she's got great energy. So I kind of go between those two. In my own personality, I'm a little bit, because if I'm just, people like, what's wrong? But if you know my personality, it's actually more, I'm kind of more of a silly person. I just get hired to be serious a lot. So, you know,
I love that.
but which is fine with me. Fine with me.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Charles. This is all the time we have for today. I really had a pleasure talking to you, and I know everyone will love this next episode.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, Michael. Good talking to you.
You too. Bye.
All right.